So Matty Healy, the lead singer of the band The 1975, has recently made his first comment about the Israel-Palestine conflict after his fans have been demanding a statement from him. He never misses a stance. So at this concert, he decided to introduce one of his songs with his first comment about the Middle Eastern conflict.
I'm gonna get cancer, aren't I?
Let's play the clip. Actually, no, I think that this was a really clever response to make fun of the people who really want celebrities to talk about political issues that they don't understand. Yeah.
Well, from the comments, I thought that's what you did want. We got to talk about it. People like me need to talk about Israel-Palestine. I'm the guy. Brittany Broski, me, all those people are the people that you need. Well, you don't be a fucking idiot.
So he's mocking all of the people that put stock in celebrities making comments about a complex geopolitical issue that they usually don't understand. They're just making statements to virtue signal. So
yes,
I mean, I think that this was a really clever move on his part. And the person he mentioned in that comment, Brittany Broski, is a TikToker who is very woke and annoying, who recently got a lot of hate because she made a similar comment. She said, like, why should I have to introduce my podcast with a statement about Israel-Palestine? Like, who am I to speak on this issue? And she then immediately apologized after her comment section lashed out at her. Let's look at those clips. This person said, having millions of followers who listen to you could help get more eyes and ears on the atrocities happening. Someone come get Brittany.
A segment to put at the beginning of next week's podcast episode, addressing the situation in the Middle East. What fucking dystopian universe?
I like her.
Sorry, it's not funny, but it's absurd. What dystopian universe do I have to address the situation in the Middle East at the top of a podcast episode?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I make the point all the time that because of social media, now everyone has to live like they're running for president.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and you have to have the correct opinion too. You can't have the wrong one. You have to say the opinion and say the right one. And if you don't,
you got to get the wording right the first time, no second chances.
And when it comes to anything that has to do with the Jews, there is no right one. There is no correct opinion to have. Someone's going to give you hell about it.
Yep. Should we continue with this one?
Yes. So here is her apology video after this. She self-flagellated for even suggesting that a podcaster shouldn't speak about Israel-Palestine.
I completely understand why so many people are upset with me. I completely understand the weight of having a platform and the power of that platform and the power of silence when you have a platform. I've even spoken about this. Of course I understand. My silence hurt and confused a lot of people who love and support me, and for that, I can't tell you how sorry I am. Not in the business of making excuses. I'm really not. I'm also not in the business of virtue signaling. I waited too long to talk about Palestine. I will admit that. And it's for X, Y, and Z reason. No one fucking cares.
That's right.
But the important thing is to talk about it now. Of course I support the liberation of Palestinian people. Of course I do.
Of course.
These people have no access to...
Yay, you touted the line that we wanted to hear.
Of course.
She's saving lives.
Of course they should exterminate the Jews.
She is saving lives of innocent civilians right now.
So dumb.
Every time that a TikToker condemns suffering, they save lives.
It's so dumb.
We condemn suffering. If you're silent, we assume that you are pro-suffering. And that's what Matty Healy was making fun of. He also, in case you didn't notice, had a clip of someone playing Subway Surfers and slime videos playing next to him on the big screen to also mock how short these people's attention spans are. Because as soon as this issue is replaced with a trendier one, they're going to be clamoring for their statement about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, this one
You can't win.
This one replaced Ukraine,
Yeah.
which replaced COVID, which replaced George Floyd, which, you know. Mm-hmm. It's all
You
so
died a little
stupid.
inside listening to that, didn't you, Brad?
Nobody is required, no matter how large their platform is, to speak on anything ever. I do not care what anyone says. I don't think you have a moral obligation to say shit to anyone just because a lot of people follow you. That is disgusting.
No one, not one single person, I would guess, in Brittany Broski's 5 million following on TikTok has any power to make any kind of change in a conflict happening across the globe. It's just not. It's all about virtue signaling.
And that's what is the most absurd part of all of this, is that every single bit of online activism is hollow and empty. Every one of your Twitter messages is hollow and empty. And the only thing more empty than the bullshit that you post when you think it's important is the people responding to the shit that you post, which is also hollow and empty. Until you get your ass away from a keyboard and actually go do something to help somebody else, do not tell me that you're in any way changing the world by typing stuff in 180 characters or less. You are the definition of what's wrong with with what Western people believe to be their role in the world. That's just stupid.
If you think you're an activist, how about that doesn't mean just posting infographics on your story? Get yourself a flight and go over there. Do some humanitarian aid.
And the worst part about it is I have no sympathy, because if you've built up a platform based on lame internet slacktivism, then these morons have every right to wonder what the hell your position is on this stuff, because you've been giving your stance on every other issue. The only difference is you finally found one that doesn't have a clear-cut good guy, bad guy narrative that you pissants love so much. I hate this shit.
Halsey has also been compelled to release a statement.
Sick.
You know, the stupidest part of it is we always say, like, no one was asking for your opinion. Ironically, though, people are asking these celebrities for their opinion.
Before this got started, you were pointing out, you said, Matty Healy, like, people are clamoring for his opinion. I'm like, that's stupid. You're like, no, they actually are. I'm
They
like,
were.
why?
They're getting spammed in their comment sections all the time. Why haven't you made a statement yet? This is disgusting, cowardice. So Halsey was accused of the same thing.
I now encourage everyone, no matter what the atrocity, to gleefully not have an opinion. I do not care.
Yeah. Halsey releases a statement in support of Palestine, admitting she didn't speak out earlier because of fear. A few people have suggested that it's cowardice, and to be completely honest, it is. I'm coming here to call it for what it is, admit my regret, and reaffirm my stance regarding the liberation of Palestinian people. Here's the worst part. I am exceptionally anxious about navigating my responsibility as a career activist.
Again, the only reason that is the only reason that is a responsibility is because you've made a career off getting rich and pretending to giving money to causes that end up all going into the pockets of the fat cats who run these charities. Is not activism, not in any real sense of the word. I have said this from day one of this podcast. I will stand by this. It is not enough to just not be an activist. It is your job to actively be anti-activist. Activists are lame.
So she also claims that she's been swatted multiple times in her home and threatened for other statements that she's made about political issues.
And
she didn't really say what.
Either.
But she said, during my last tour, I had a volume of violent and threatening events occur that resulted in my home being swatted multiple times and required the presence of snipers in the sky during most of my shows that summer.
I better not hear any bullshit about gun control from her after reading that.
After that happened, I made a conscious decision to protect my family from people who plan to enact violence toward me in the disagreement of my opinions. I don't know. If it causes you that much duress, why would you still continue to be a quote-unquote career activist? That isn't what your career is built on. People want to listen to your music. Right? Like, you have a platform because of your music.
Halsey calls out lawmakers who protect guns over our youth. It's despicable, she says. Says it right there.
I hate all this.
Yeah. One day, ladies and gentlemen, I will own that van and I will walk away and I will live down by the river and I will never look at the internet again. Or at least not in any... I will never look at a celebrity again. It'll be fantastic.
I'm not saying any of that response is right, that she was swatted and threatened and all that.
No, exactly. Of course
but
not.
She shouldn't have made political statements in the first place, honestly. She's inviting this kind of attention, and it's totally unnecessary.
The thing is like, I understand where the followers come from, right? If you start making opinions, if you start having opinions on a bunch of social issues, why wouldn't your fans think you're going to have an opinion on this social issue, right? People ask us all the time for our opinions on stuff that is so far outside our wheelhouse. As far as like what we talk about on here. So when you have a job that requires you to give opinions, it's not unfair for people to ask. But that does not mean you are required to have an opinion on everything. That is getting into the realm of compelled speech and silence is violence, which is all just lame leftist Marxist bullshit that we know is being done to destroy this country. You are not hurting anyone by not giving your lame, uninformed opinion on anything. This also goes to the internet. We live in an age now, because of the ease of access to information, that knowing something, understanding it are two vastly different things, and having a bunch of information about some conflict going on thousands of miles away from you is not the same as truly understanding what's going on. And it's also on the fault of the people looking for this from these stories. Why don't you go seek out information from people who are actually going through the conflict? Whether you support either side, whether you're in support of Palestinian people who are maybe trying to get out from under the Hamas rule of the area, or you support Israel and the Israeli citizens who live there, there's thousands of people talking about this stuff. Some of the best journalism I saw was people right after this happened who immediately started reaching out to people who lived in these areas to try and get interviews. Seek those interviews out. Don't ask what Halsey has to say about it.
There were still people who were mad at her because she called Hamas a terrorist organization.
Hamas is a terrorist organization, guys.
They were mad at her that she used that phrasing particularly, and that she called out both Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. So she somehow made this long essay of her stance, but still didn't really take a side.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.